Welcome back to another episode of Rendezvous with Alysia. Today's guest I have known probably for over a decade, okay? He is Brendan Green. He has been huge in the music industry, but he didn't just stop there. He is a true entrepreneur. He went on to project management, business management, musician management. This guy is all over the place. You may know him as Star Force HH, and he's got like other names too. But I want to bring on Brendan Green. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we met. Oh, you must have been representing somebody or working with somebody that I had on the radio like over 10 years ago. It
Yeah,
had
it
to.
was actually Uncle Dom.
Uncle Dom, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. And now
yeah,
he was related to Big Ange, right?
correct. Yeah, she passed, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was her brother-in-law.
It was her brother-in-law, right? And then he ran with Joanne from Bensonhurst, and
Yeah,
that whole big Italian crew and the reality TV stars.
yep.
That's right. That's how we met. Yeah. So where have you been? Let's talk about that season in your life because I think that has exploded by like 100 by now, and then all the other businesses that you're doing.
Yeah, so, it's funny with, Uncle Dom, that's actually he introduced me to Damon John as well, and I was able to pitch a show called Framework right in Damon John's office in the Empire State Building. It was really awesome. But things just didn't click. And he was representing an artist named Mahogany who ended up moving over to Asia. And then Dom had a TV show that came out on CBS. And just things, as I was building my business, you kind of walk different paths a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, where I'm at now is, is the coming to fruition of like 2 decades of just steadfast building my foundation. I tell everyone like you have to network your net worth. I actually coined that. You can find it on Twitter from like 2011. Everybody that says it now, they swear they invented it, but whatever. Just like anything else, whether it's a great song or a good idea, sometimes like-minded people think alike. And so, that happens in the music business. You'll hear a song like, damn, I feel like they stole my idea. But actually it's just that time frame, what the wave is at the time, someone's thinking very similarly. So that happens a lot. Right now, my X account is on fire. I'm monetized fully. I'm averaging, well, I did like 150 million impressions for the year so far. And every 2 weeks, they do payouts for ad rev.
Yeah.
And it's up and down because like they don't give you analytics where you can look at like what you're trending to do, like
Mhm.
monetarily. But
Yeah.
you can, based on the impressions of the previous week, you can kind of guide, and it's a hotbed for political world right now. Um, so what happened with X was that exploded when I was on TV. I was on America Unearthed on History Channel, Travel, and A&E.
Yeah.
And I was at the same time building my own record label. At the time, I was doing stuff with Rick Ross, Jadakiss, who was the VP of Maybach Music, and I had developed Star Force Hip Hop. And at that time, that website, although the antithesis of WorldStar, it had hella traffic and people wanted to get involved in the music business because if it explodes and they didn't take part, then they'd kick themselves in the ass. And the site did extremely well. And I ended up selling the URL and shelving the website because I started to see Google ADX and the ad rev with Google was really plummeting. Google tends to look at the type of traffic on the hip hop website community is like leech traffic. In other words, if you buy the big screen for me for like 3 grand, they know that you and 2,500 of your homies that click and refresh. And so that comes into question, is that a unique click? I mean, to me, if it's a fresh set of eyes and they bring in other traffic, because word of mouth still travels. If something's hot, it's hot. And what I did was rebrand it into Star Force Network as those ad sales were dropping. And then my construction just exploded. So I just put all the music to the side in like 2012 to like 2014 timeframe. Had a few things I was doing. In between then, I did a Joel Ortiz song called Giant Killer, right?
Okay.
He's the lead on it with my artist and another artist that I am affiliated with. I did a Gilly the Kid track. I did a Cocaine track. and also Crooked Eye. Crooked Eye was in Slaughterhouse with Joel Ortiz, and so that all those relationships stemmed from Star Force Hip Hop. And I'm a believer when you cross the bridge, you don't torch it, even if there's bad blood in some place or time.
Yes.
Like in 2011, I broke my fibula at it was supposed to be a Rick Ross event, but it ended up being just Gunplay and Torch, who were his artists. And Gunplay and I got in a street brawl, and then I got hit by a taxi out on 27th Street. It was terrible, crazy, broke my fibula. And, when that type of shit happens, you got to rethink what you're around. I literally stumbled. I walked all the way to Penn Station with a broken fibula that night, not realizing how bad it was because we're men, we could have a broken toe and not even go to the doctor. And so I got it reset. And yeah, obviously you're in a cast for a little bit of time. But I never torched the bridge. In fact, Gunplay and I made up for the sake of the betterment of the long-term relationship. And then
Good.
I went on to be in 600 Bends with Wale and Rick Ross and Jadakiss. So, one thing is true, like when you're in a business room, is you don't have to be the loudest and most brash. Sometimes you just shut the fuck up and let everyone else do the talking, silence is golden. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like a hot flash of what I'm doing now.
I just can't believe the growth. And I knew it though, because you've always had that mindset. You've always been like Jay-Z song on to the next
Yeah.
one. That's you. Like
Yeah.
that song could be like your song.
Well, what the thing is you have to, it's easy. So I'll give you just a quick story because now, I'm through a divorce. It's signed now. And
Okay.
how that happened was in 2019, I had a skyrocketing level of money coming in. I would have cracked 1 million for sure. And I was building a hotel across from Peter Luger's in Brooklyn on 159 Broadway. My
Okay.
office was right next to Peter Luger's third story. It was a Moxie Hotel, which is a French five-star hotel with Stonehill Taylor, developer and designers were, the architects. And I was basically, it was incredible because it was a $300 million project, right? Senior project manager. And I was able to get some of my own trades and subcontractors to come in. You want to build with who you trust. You want to know who can excel and get to the end goal because the longer you're in these types of loans with construction, the higher the interest rate is at the end of the job. You're still trying to get an attorney general sign off for the condos, C of O from Department of Buildings. It's a big thing. And what the developer Isaac Hager did wrong, he didn't. It was a hotel, so he could have got all of those cushiony little things that COVID gave. Like the hotel, you were getting paid from the government to house people, and he just didn't do it fast enough, and that was that. So it went under. But before it went under, I was, this deep empathy comes where you think you can help everybody, right? Even an imposter syndrome type of thing happens. Like, wow, how me? How me? Because I come from, a broken family. My dad was like a biker outlaw mindset. My blood mother was like Jenny as Forrest Gump and trying to reset her life every 5 years. What that did was teach me adaptability. So in that whole time, this girl that I went to school with when I first moved to Long Island, her husband died in 2018, and she was devastated, needed help with money, and I went and helped her without telling my wife at the time, right?
Oh, so you did a good
And
deed.
nothing happened, although it could have, but it didn't. And I was viewing this girl as like we were 12, 11 again, because all these thoughts that were coming back from my childhood, like abuse and imposter syndrome and this, she knew all those stories from when we were kids. Stuff that we put in a box as we grow and get stronger as men, because that's the problem with mental health with men is they don't discuss anything. Even if you look at fucking Sammy, the bull, well, think what you will of him, but he pushes better help on his podcast because he understands the hell I was a hitman, right? So things are probably not sitting straight up there. But so so what happened was my ex-wife had gone through all of these, the same manipulation was there, the same, throwing her under the bus. And this was right before Christmas and of 2019. And then we went and got help. I stopped talking to the girl completely. We dealt with it. And then when COVID hit, I bought the tattoo shop down in Tennessee. My artist, Kaylee, he's the lead singer of my band, Bigfoot is Real, which is an EDM rocksteady band. And that's the one we have a song with Wyclef in. So now just imagine I'm driving up and down the fucking coast and I'm not being stopped. No one's checking me. I don't have the commitment to have to stay in my house and, oh, you want to put the injection in me? No, no, no bueno. So I didn't feel the effect that the rest of America was feeling with the lockdowns.
Right,
And then
right.
that grandiosity hit me because now I'm truly free. I was out of work, even though I stacked a lot of cash, but I wasn't affected by it. We got through it. But she was home helping her dying mom. She was home self schooling the kids. And I was obtuse to this. When I came back after that business, entity happened, the first dinner back, it was like two different people, just completely opposite sides of the track. She couldn't see the vision anymore. And then, of course, because of the stuff with the philandering with this friend, everything I did was I'm doing something. So the trust issue was broken. And what we couldn't fix what she needed done, which was the previous stuff, right? And then everything going forward was, oh, well, when you were in Florida with Rick Ross and Jeter, I know you just went to some crazy club, Wet Willie's, and there was chicks everywhere. No, actually, that didn't happen. Because if you don't keep up with Rick Ross or any entity you're with, you get left in the dust. You know what I mean? Those guys had first class at every show. And so, yes, of course, in the business, there's all this trash around on all sides, but that doesn't mean I'm implementing it and taking advantage of it. And
Right.
so now I'm trying to defend myself from a standpoint of having to go backwards when all she's seeing is just like this symptom of what was cheating,
So
can be
you ended
equated to
up
that.
worst, and then another part of your entrepreneurship life came from that.
Exactly. Right. So,
Okay.
and because I am able to adapt every time, like every day is a new day to me.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't suffer from the way downs of the depression and all that shit. Although, like I said, it was coming back when I was making all that money because the question is
yes,
in it, you know.
yes,
But on the outside, the facade I'm putting out, not that I'm fake, but you want to give your best impression and read the room, right?
of course you do.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. And now, moving forward and building and doing all types of stuff. And I make sure I put my daughters first. Well, I got a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old going on 30, and they're both brilliant in their own ways. But I want to show them the best example of what a man is, not
yeah,
some fucking deadbeat. And these deadbeats do exist out there.
yeah.
Um,
So the
but that's
choose between the music industry and the construction and stuff, do you have a love greater for one of them, or they're both?
so you can only get good at a few things and master them, right? Like, some people say a man of many hats, but I don't really see it that way. It's like three or four things I'm really good at, right? I loved getting up at 4:30 in the morning and being in my city before the workers ever show up. I love implementing the plan of from pre-construction right through to fruition of the finished project because it shows the management skills. And then I have this thing I call aces in places where I'm always training someone to fill my own vacuum. When I was with Shell Oil and Jiffy Lube in the early thousands and late '90s, I was stuck in an assistant manager position. I was phenomenal at it, but I
Yeah,
couldn't get to the GM. And then when I got to the GM, I couldn't get to the divisional because you can't replace yourself. You have to be able to train, train, train. And so that corporate ladder from Jiffy Lube and Pennzoil taught me how to run management and manpower. So now with the construction, I'm always training someone to learn how to look and read their surroundings. Obviously, the Department of Building Codes, they changed, kind of basically mayor to mayor, really. But the basic codes are the same. And you can find something in someone that maybe they don't see.
so you're running parallel because in both you're a mentor in
Right,
construction and in music, and all the young artists and all of your followers, your thousands and thousands of followers you have. You really are a mentor. People look up to you for that guidance that you're talking about right
right.
now.
And
Yeah.
my workload, like, I don't feel stressed. Like, I could have multiple $100 million projects, have to be at the gym at 3 o'clock. My daughter needs to be at work at 4:30. And like, let me tell you something. I drive. I don't fly unless I have to, right?
Yeah. Me
I will
too.
fly, like Jamaica, overseas, whatever. But I like to take the train to LA because it's a lot of thinking time. And I like to
Sure.
drive up and down the coast to Florida. And I can't tell you at least a dozen times I've had collab, breakdowns that were catastrophes on I-40, I-95. I'm talking about tires exploding while you're driving, right? My X5, the fucking turbo blew up last time I was in Tennessee. And I kept hearing, when you're driving by the 18-wheeler and you hear that flapping noise?
Yes.
That's their air brake, right? But I didn't realize it was my fucking pistons clapping. So by the time the oil light went on, the motor was shot. So I literally got the last rental car at the Tri-County Airport between Virginia and Tennessee before I couldn't leave. And it was my daughter's birthday 2 days later.
Oh,
And like the tire blows out, I'm putting the donut on. I literally drove all the way back to New York from fucking Tennessee on a donut. So you have to have vision and perseverance and know how to react when something happens wrong. And if you have contingencies like the right tools, like I don't have a little toy jack, I have a floor jack in every car I drive because sometimes you'll be on the side of the road and that little jack doesn't do anything and then you're screwed.
I know.
And when the city of New York likes to give tickets out, I may or may not know how to use a sawzall to cut boots off of cars and stuff like this.
I got a ticket I was filming a television show in Manhattan, and the producer had said, we were live on set, and they said, you got to keep running out and put the money in the
It's
meter
crazy.
because we were there for like 8 hours. And like every time the meter would be up, it was my turn for them to film me, to get mic'd up for me. I got multiple tickets and went filming a TV show. I think that everything I earned for that one day went to pay New York City and my
Yeah.
tickets.
But that's the problem. They're like predators with their tickets.
I know, they really are. They're crazy. We moved down to Myrtle Beach and we have a house in Florida as well. The South is just it's so different. The one thing I do miss about New York, Brendan, is the food. I'm a foodie. You don't get that good New York food down here.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm still on the hunt for a good slice of pizza. I haven't found a good Italian restaurant that I like. I did find one Chinese restaurant that sort of reminds me of Smithtown, Long Island, like a Chinese
Mhm.
food restaurant there. But it's just the food is not the same. It's that northern, you can't find it down here. So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
That's
But
where I'm living right now is between Nesconset and Holbrook.
oh yeah, okay. We were
Yeah.
in St. James, so right over there. Right
Nice.
over there by Smithtown. Yeah. I do.
Right.
And Long Island is so beautiful. The taxes there are crazy though.
It's crazy.
They're skyrocketing. But what Deb, don't tell me any secrets, but what do you have coming up that like, I feel like you're always on to the next thing. Like you're going to pull
Well,
something out of your hat and we're all going to be like, what
so,
the hell is that?
well, yeah. So what happened? And the biggest secret is this: you don't fucking speak about it in its destiny until it's already done.
Right.
Because that's when people steal ideas. And that's when, even if they didn't, but it's like I said earlier, where it's just a coincidence, you're gonna
Yeah.
still feel like it was.
Mhm.
Like when Dominic took me to Damon John, right? I pitched the show for an hour. Damon walks out in the middle of the show, right? Some rubberneck intern walks in who didn't sign the non-disclosures, right? 6 weeks later, a show shows up on H2O called Framework with Common Sense the Rapper. And they had all my ideas, but they didn't have me or what I was saying. They were
Right.
like, let's take this surfboard and cut it into Framework. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I want to know Rick Ross or Rohan Marley or Wyclef. At what point in their life did you know you had the framework for success? That was the point of this.
Mhm.
So really, it was about my network, and then we're doing that show right now, Framework. We're I have a couple pilots ready to go, but I don't do sizzle reels for no one no more. Now I have half-hour episodes. One of them will be with Rohan Marley. Like in the spring break, I took my daughters down to Miami. Rohan Marley's one of Bob Marley's sons, and my daughters get to meet an icon of the music business as kid, right? And we're in his backyard. He's getting acupuncture. They're like, Dad, is this guy a Rasta? I'm like, yeah, they're Rastafarians. So what's next is I'm putting out personally with a few major features an 8-track EP rendition album, right? Called the Essential Renditions. And it's going to be 7 Spanish Angels, which is Ray Charles and Willie Nelson. Cocaine, who's a major artist from the West Coast. He's going to sing the Ray Charles. I'm doing the Willie Nelson. I'm going to do Falling in Love, Elvis Presley. And we're doing rewrites of the music. This way we can put it out digitally. And we still have to get licensing and things clear, which we're in the process of. But you can put out a recomposition as long
Okay.
as the original writer gets the credit which is what's going to happen. And
Perfect.
then I'm going to do Redemption Song with Rohan Marley playing the guitar, the acoustics.
Nice. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I knew it. I knew
Yeah.
it. About the construction business.
That's like the long term, like 6 month goal.
Yeah. Well, for you, you'll probably have that done in 3 because that's who
I
you
just
are.
do it when I want, when I get to it. Cause what I learned was like the music for me, like right now, it's not much, but I'll do like 1,000 to 1,500 every quarter in royalty money through BMI, right? Where they, I mean, it's not much, but it's something that's not there if you didn't do it, right? And
More
that's
than
for the
what
songs.
speaking over there.
Yeah, those are they. What their whole job is, BMI and ASCAP, is they get royalties from wherever it's spun, wherever it's played in like movies. Like right now, we have a song that's being played over in England. It sucks trying to get paid from the Europe or even the Eastern Bloc. Like it's crazy, but eventually you get the money, and that's how it happens through BMI. So that we do that. Then I make not a lot, but probably 700, 800, give or take, a month or so on Spotify streams. Depend if it's real hot and like the Wyclef song does great, it can be more. Then the X is so basically it's a lot of like, extra lines of income that are not like, hey, let me retire. But what happens? I take the X money, I put it right in the fucking Fidelity account,
That's what you do. Yeah. Or you
right?
roll it over into another business.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
then I have I invest in a couple in real estate companies where it's like a rev share. They're buying properties, renovating them. The rent increases naturally, like anywhere in the world, especially New York, Miami, wherever. And then they take the equity out and they go about do the next project. So you're investing in that company. And one of the examples is Cardone Capital, Grant Cardone,
Yes.
who is he? If you go to cardonecapital.com, you'll see what I'm talking about.
And
Guy's
we love
phenomenal.
him. Yeah, we love
Yeah.
him. Mhm.
And him and I talk all the time on X spaces and stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
How's X doing now that Elon bought it? Is it better than what it was when it was?
I think it's way better. So when I was building my own network, I had the Star Force website on an RSS feed that whenever I posted any content on the website, it kicked automatically to all my socials at the time. And X was my biggest go-to. When Trump won the first time, I got decimated because I owe a lot of my success to a freak encounter with Don Jr. My dad died Christmas Eve 2003. And that week I was drunk in the home office. I hit my head on a shelf and I woke up with the Rolodex open to Don Jr. I called him up and like 3 weeks later, he called me back. I'm like, I want to be a rapper, an entertainer. He's like, listen, bro, walk in your dad's steps and things will work out. You got carpenters and you got this background with management with Shell Oil. So I took it and then literally built my career from that point forward. So I would to freely talk like about what my connection was to the construction world, and the left hated me then when Trump won. So I went from like 340,000 followers to like 60 in like a matter of 2 or 3 months. And I don't know if I was being targeted or what was happening. So I just let it fizzle. I was building up my Instagram and then, doing these construction stuff as that was exploding. And
Sure.
when Elon bought it, I went back and rebuilt it. Now I'm at 160,000 followers,
Nice.
up from 40. And it's all hard, heavy hit. Like I put a tweet out in an hour, I'll have 10,000 impressions, from that one tweet.
Oh, I
So
know you well, but you've always been like that too. So even though you got kind of pushed to the side for a little, you are back.
yeah,
You are
yep.
back. Well, Brendan, if people want to follow you, tell me, let's talk your websites. Is there a phone number to give? Somebody wants to get involved in the music industry or
Yeah.
want.
So everything is at Star Force Double H social media wise.
Okay.
So Star Force HH, and then starforcehh.com is
Okay.
my main website that links everything together.
Perfect. Perfect. I am so glad that you gave us the time tonight. It was so good to see you face to face after all
Thank
these.
you. You as well.
I've been such a fan of you because you're always on to the next thing. And I'm telling you, I said it third time tonight. Whenever I hear that Jay-Z song on to the next one, I think of you because you're always recreating, reinventing. You go up, 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 nothing stops you. Nothing.
You got to just be goal orientated. And one of my gifts is follow up, and then
Yeah.
I do daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals. But I see one of the things I was really get good at as a kid and bring into my adulthood is I always found men that would be mentors without them knowing it. In other words, when I was learning to be a superintendent, I couldn't go ask the electrician, "Hey, I don't know nothing about electrician yet." So I would go there and study it 4:30 in the morning, learn the code, learn the wiring, read the plans. And then what happened, the master mechanic walked in one day, saw how early I was there, and then took an interest of what I'm doing. Then when he hears the story, now he's going to open the books and teach me, right? So
Yeah,
that's the thing is you'd be surprised what happens when you're the first person there. Things
it's
kind of fall in your lap, you know?
yep, it's true. It's true.
Yep,
Well, thank you so much for coming on,
absolutely.
and we'll put up all your links and everything underneath, and we'll see
Perfect.
you next and find you wherever you are. I want everyone
Thank
to
you.
go get who you are. So thank you,
Th-
Brendan.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.